Big Buck Night 1991 has the largest array of what is probably the largest racks we've ever had on a Big Buck Night. These deer are fun to look at because they're huge. They're not normal, some are bizarre, and we like to see excessively large things like this. I can't really explain why, but they are fun to see. How many hunters get deer with trophy-sized racks? Well, most Michigan hunters don't get a deer at all. And of those who do, 99% at least get deer with no antlers or antlers smaller than 10 points. In the next hour, you're going to see 32 of the biggest racks we could track down, which were taken in the 1991 Michigan deer season. The way we score racks for our Outdoors Club Williams GUNSIGHT Hunting Awards is simple. We add the antler points, and to be counted as a point, it must be at least 1 inch long. We add that to the outside spread in inches. Points plus spread. Anything over 30 is a particularly big deer. Over 35 is huge. And over 40, we have some of these coming up, they are colossal. Now this is what I call a nice 2-point. It's one of my previous deer I've gotten, very symmetrical. We'll count it, we'll score at 2 points with maybe a 4 or 5 inch spread, but nothing for the record book. But I'm proud of these racks. I often get them mounted like this one. Here's another one of my spike horns from year past. We've got mounted on a board. And over here, this is my son Zach. Very proud of the boy this year. At deer camp, Zach, you got this on opening day before I got a buck.
Yeah, got it about 3 o'clock. Usually I try to get bigger deer than you, but season, it's not over with yet.
Well, maybe you'll get out with a muzzle loader. Yeah, maybe. Okay. Cameraman John Ford, by the way, after I got my buck, did connect with a massive...
Well, we're managing for big bucks now.
Yeah, so we want to call these out.
I'm taking the smaller ones, and this is a 3-point, I guess.
A 3-point, except we might be able to call that one.
Yeah, go ahead and give it to me. It's my first buck.
Yeah, we'll call that a 4-point. Okay, but I don't mean to make you guys feel bad, but this is my deer, and I know this is Big Buck Night, and we've kind of cribbed here on getting our deer on, just because we're proud of them. But this is the biggest deer. This could very well be the biggest deer I'll ever get. Taxidermist Tim Hayes. Tim, come on in here. You're going to be the taxidermist, of course, at our taxidermy shop at our education center when we get that open, hopefully in July. And do people oftentimes get full head mounts on deer this size?
Well, yeah. A lot of times guys get their first deer mounted. In your case, it's the biggest deer you've ever killed, so yeah, you're going to get it mounted.
And possibly the biggest deer I'll ever get.
Yeah, it's bigger than anything I've killed, so I would definitely mount it.
So you don't have to have a big buck like for Big Buck Night to get mounted.
No.
A lot of people bring these in.
A lot of guys get their deer done because they're special. I mean, a trophy is, it can be anything to anybody.
And you do fish and different things of what might be considered small, but to the people who get them, mighty important. Of course, you look around here and look at all the mounts we have. Very important part of the outdoors, the taxidermy work.
I would say just about anything you got this year would be pretty special.
Would be a trophy. It would be very special indeed. But, you know, let's take a look. We were all up at the buck pole at the Mike Sell Ranch. Let's go back and take a look at that. A lot of happy hunters there. How's this stack up, Mike?
Pretty good. $9 on third day. Pretty good compared to other years. Sure.
1991 was as good a year as Mickey Mike Sell has seen at his property near Clare. Nearly all 14 hunters had bucks by the 3rd day of the season. The camaraderie of deer camp, well, you can see, it's unique. And while we can't count on the hunting, we know we're going to have a good time together during deer season. But we always look forward to Big Buck Night to see the lucky hunters who got the really big ones. Well, we'll kick off Big Buck Night with a 6-point buck that has a 20 5/8 inch spread for a score of 26 5/8. Jerry Christensen from Romulus got it in Kalkaska County. Opening day, 5:10 p.m. Why'd you wait till the end of the day, Jerry?
Well, we was having so much fun that I figured I'd wait till the end.
Yeah, I bet. But a 6-point with a spread like this, I mean, this is a massive rack.
Yeah, when he come through the woods, he was pretty big. I knew it then.
Any idea how old he is?
He's 3.5 to 4.5 years old.
I'll be darned. But these points, that's a heck of a nice rack. Is this the biggest buck you've ever taken?
This is the only buck I've ever
The
taken.
only? Well, congratulations on that, Jerry. Jerry Christian, give the man a hand for opening up Big Buck Night here with this rack. Congratulations, Jerry.
Thank you, Fred.
And believe it or not, we have another 6-point, even bigger, a 23-inch spread. This one came from Ionia County, was taken by bow hunter Pat Kalis from Grand Rapids. Pat, this is a 6-point that doesn't come along very often. I mean, this has, how long are the tines?
8 inches.
No kidding. 23-inch spread. What were you hunting on state land, private land?
Private land.
Private land. Bow hunting.
Bow hunting.
What's the story behind it? Did you know this buck was there?
Well, I heard a couple of them fighting, so I grunted, and I had a 10-point come in right underneath me, and
Yeah, pass those up.
I passed him up and shot this one.
Seriously? Did you
Well,
pass
yeah.
the 10-point?
Well, I didn't. He was right underneath me, and
Well, you would have taken the 10-point.
I didn't get a good shot. It was a tough shot, so I shot him instead.
Now, was the 10-point bigger than this? Wider?
Not wider. He had 10 points though.
So you would rather have the 10-point than the 6?
No, not really. He was 215 dressed out, and he dwarfed the 10 points. So.
Holy cow. Hey, this beats it. Got you on Big Buck Night. Congratulations, the biggest 6-point. This next rack is a 7-point with a 19 3/4-inch spread. It was taken in Mecosta County on opening day, but the special thing about this rack is Chris Okert from Mulligan is 14 years old. Hey, dude, congratulations on this one. And the thing is this your first buck?
Yeah. First buck.
First buck, but how many deer have you taken?
4.
4 deer, including this one?
Yep. No, 5.
5.
Including this one.
He's 14 years old and he already lost count. Isn't that great? I wish I could have done that. Now, this was taken with a gun and the other 4 were taken with a bow.
Yep.
Right? All around, Mecosta County, was it state land, private land?
My grandpa owns it.
Oh. Does your grandpa teach you these hunting skills? Your dad?
Yep.
Is he as good a hunter as you?
No.
Of course not. Of course not. Silly me. But this is a 7-point rack with a 19 3/4-inch spread. You think that you'll be getting a bigger buck in the next couple of years?
I don't know.
Well, what do you do in school? You play a lot of sports and go out with the girls?
No.
No, what do you do mainly?
Just homework and go hunting.
Homework and go hunting. The all-American boy. Right here on Big Buck Night. Chris, congratulations on that rack. A great story. Thank you. 7-point buck. Look at that. Now we're going to take a look at a couple 8-points that are huge. The first one, a 25-inch spread, was taken in Muskegon County on the 18th of November. Lane Humphreys from Ravenna took this. And this is an incredible 8-point. You see him like this often up there in Muskegon County?
Just the same one.
Oh, you've seen him before?
Yeah, about 3 other times.
This year?
Yeah.
Okay, so you didn't see him last year or anything? Or...
Well, no, I don't think so.
But maybe?
Maybe, yeah.
So that means you got some other big ones up in that territory.
There's a few, yeah.
Okay, well, you got this at 5:25 in the evening.
Right.
You're really pressing it against dark there, aren't you?
Well, I don't get out of work till 5, so you have to hurry.
You're kidding me. You got out at 5 o'clock
Yes.
and got this buck at 5:25?
Yeah.
So where you hunt is pretty close to where you work.
Yeah.
We won't go into any other details. We're going to protect your hunting spot. Lane Humphreys, this is an outstanding 8-point. Congratulations for that, a 25-inch spread. Look at that. Our next 8-point is a smidgen larger on spread. It was taken in Calhoun County on the 16th of October by Greg St. John's from Battle Creek. Greg, what's the story behind this one?
Well, I hunted this buck for 2 years, and last year I missed him about 3 times. I didn't get shots but 1 time, but other 2 times I should have had him, and I didn't.
Was his rack as big last year?
He was a 10-point last year for sure.
No kidding. How do you know it was the same one?
Because of the white spot on his chest. I never seen another buck like it except for this one. And I went in rattling and grunting as I walked to my tree stand, and he come in at 15 minutes after 7, just about 15 minutes after I rattled the last time up my tree. He come in from around behind me, and I turned over my right shoulder, and I was standing towards the tree, and I shot him behind me.
But you worked for this buck.
Real
you know, on
hard.
your form it says you used a grunt call, you rattled, you used scents. Yeah. I would have thought down in Battle Creek area you'd have a big pile of cornflakes out there or something.
I thought about it.
You did? You probably would
I thought a lot of different things to get this guy. But
well, you
I
did.
finally got lucky.
Congratulations. And you made Big Buck Night.
Thanks a
A
lot.
massive 8-point rack. Look at that. And our biggest 8-point we have has a massive spread of 26 inches. It was taken in Washtenaw County by Lewis Wary from Ypsilanti. Lewis, this one doesn't have the tines maybe that some of the other 8-points had, but what a spread.
Yeah, it does.
Holy cow. How big was this deer?
26 inches wide to spread and dressed live weight about 2 1/4.
2 1/4.
Yep.
A big buck. But down there from Washtenaw County, we have about 4 more bucks coming up from Washtenaw County. Heck of a place to hunt.
big bucks come out of the area.
Are there many hunters?
Quite a few.
Okay, where were you hunting? State land?
Private land.
What was the story?
Well, I seen him about 15 minutes before I got a shot at him, and I shot at him. He was about 50 yards away. I was using buckshot.
Mm-hmm.
Out of 12, I hit him with 2.
And that did it?
And that did it.
I'll be darned. Well, almost a lucky shot, we can say on that. That
Pretty close.
Pattern must have been pretty wide, but this was taken on opening day. In the morning, you saw him for 20 minutes. I couldn't have taken the pressure.
It was hard.
Way to go, Lewis. Congratulations. An 8-point with a 26-inch spread. We have a couple 9-point bucks now that are honorable mentions. Tom Bacon from East Jordan got a 9-point with a 23-inch spread. He was bow hunting on the 27th of October. That came from Charlevoix County. Not too many big buck entries come from up in that country, but we do have one, another 9-point from Saginaw County, area known for a lot of big bucks. This was on the 20th of November. Bill Salvi from St. Charles got that one. It had a 9-point rack with a 23 5/8-inch spread. But looking down to a buck, an even bigger 9-point that came from Hillsdale County. This was taken on the 23rd of November at a 24 3/8-inch spread, if you can believe it. Jerry Carson from Livonia, what's the story behind this one?
Well, it was raining all day, and I was about ready to give up hunting for the day, and I decided to go to this swamp that I know a big buck's been hanging around. And I was stalking, and I come up out of the swamp. Whenever I pushed through the brush, 2 does jumped up and heard him grunting, and he came up behind him about 70 yards, and I shot him. We went about 100 yards, and he went down.
No kidding. Well, and this was in Hillsdale County,
Right.
which oftentimes has a lot of great big bucks. Yours, I think, is about the only entry. We might have another one here on Big Buck Night.
Yeah.
But see a lot of deer?
Oh, yeah, I see a lot of nice-sized bucks. This is the first one I've ever had a chance at, though, and I was hoping I wouldn't mess it up. I did.
Yeah, hey, you want to talk to me about messing up shots like that? I know all about it, but congratulations. Jerry Carson from Livonia. Representing our 10-point category is a buck that has a 23 1/8-inch spread taken from Jackson County the second day of the season. Vernon Caudle from Munith got this 10-pointer. Vern, this is one heck of a buck. Thank you. For these tines, how long are these tines?
9 3/4 longest.
Boy, they look massive. This has got to be the biggest buck you've ever taken.
The biggest in 30 years.
Well, that's all. Have you taken a lot of bucks?
Quite a few.
Now, you told me that this buck, you were leaving your stand in the evening on the second day, and it was standing by your truck?
20 yards from the truck. I broke cover at 300 yards, and I had to get to my truck, and he had to get out of the way. So he started angling away from me, and I closed in at 150 yards and dropped
you got him. No kidding. Well, what a story. What a story. Stalked the buck that was waiting at your truck.
My truck.
Probably just trying to warm up there on the second day of the season. Congratulations, Vern. Tremendous 10-point buck. Now moving into our 11-point category, a couple more honorable mentions. Kerry Van Dyke from Manchester got one with a 23 3/4-inch spread. That one had a 10 1/2-inch tine. He got that one from Washtenaw County, another Washtenaw County 11-point. This had a 24 1/2-inch spread. Todd Weissman from Ypsilanti got that one on opening day, 8:35 in the morning. And look at this photo. We got this sent in from Bob Wilson from Lincoln Park. It's 11-pointer, but it really only has about a 6-inch spread. Bob, you got this from Ogemaw County?
Yeah.
Look at, here's the rack that you have. You're going to have this mounted, aren't you?
Oh, yeah.
What? There's got to be a story behind this burr head coming through the woods.
Well, it was just before dark. I was ready to get out of my tree, and he come up grunting behind a doe, and I didn't know it was a buck until he started rubbing trees, and then when he stepped out, it was hard to see at the last minute. And then I seen him leaves and antlers, and I thought it was just a spike.
So that's really all you saw?
Yeah, the leaves and everything gave him away, and
no kidding.
then I shot him, and that's what happened when we found him.
No kidding. You scored it at 11 points. Who knows? This is just one of the oddest things that I've ever seen. You, on your form, it said you were baiting and scents and grunting.
Yeah.
Is that what brought him in?
No, he kept making scrapes. There was a new scrape every night, and he was checking the scrape.
This one?
This one, yeah.
What an odd ball of a buck. Well, I hope maybe we can get that on display at our museum for a little while. You think?
Sure.
When we get that open this summer?
Sure.
An oddball rack, only a 6-inch spread, but we had to have you on Big Buck Night. That's a great rack to look at. Isn't that something? Now we're going to take a look at an 11-point buck that does have a massive spread, 25¼ inches. This was taken in Washtenaw County by Dennis Hutchins from Ann Arbor. You got this on the 3rd day of the season, huh, Dennis?
That's right, yeah.
God, look at the size of this baby.
That's what I said.
I mean, yeah, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Count that as 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Holy, what a massive rack. Washtenaw County has really come through with some big ones this big buck night.
Has for the last couple of years. Last 2 or 3 years, they've been throwing out some big ones.
Well, did you know about this one?
No,
in the
no, I
area?
hadn't seen him. A partner of mine had gotten one just like it, a 10-point, beautiful 10-point, 2 years before, right in the same area. And I was surprised to see this one come into the woods.
No kidding. Any particular story behind it, or?
Well, I'm hunting the same runway for 3 days and seen a lot of deer on the runway. And then there was 2 yearlings and a doe came up the runway, and I kind of watched them go by, and I looked back and I saw the horns come into the woods before I saw the deer, and I had trouble holding it together, I'll tell you.
You don't have to explain that to me. I imagine. Well, look at this, an 11-point rack. Normally, this would be the biggest 11-point on Big Buck Night. We have one that just edges you up by a smidgen. But hey, normally,
I'll
like
take
I
it.
said, this is great. This is great. Brenda Brown, a woman bow hunter from Grosse Ile, took this huge 11-point rack, a overall score of 37, from none other than Washtenaw County, coming up a lot here on Big Buck Night. But look at the spread on this rack, 26 inches. Brenda, what did you think when you came upon this buck after you got it?
Oh, I didn't even stay. I left right away.
You left?
I left for help. It was way too big for me.
Oh, I imagine it was probably laying on its side with his rack standing up
Yeah, he was
26
big.
inches.
He was big.
Well, you got this on the 2nd day of bow season. Must have been a terribly nice day.
Oh, it was gorgeous. Real nice and warm, and I was just sitting there waiting and watching, and he came out of the corn, and it was all over in about 15 seconds.
No kidding.
Yep,
Well,
double lung shot, and that was it.
You shoot a 44-pound bow.
Yes.
And have you taken other deer with a bow?
No, this is my first one.
First deer? No kidding.
Yep.
Well, it must have been terribly exciting then for a lot of reasons.
Yes.
Now, who came out in the woods with you when you went back for help?
Oh, my brother Hugh. I called him, and he was out there in no time.
Hugh must have been speechless when he came up on this
Oh, he
deer.
was quite happy.
I imagine. You have some news about this rack.
Yes, right now I'm in possibility of taking the state record for women.
The state record for women. How about that, folks? Brenda Brown with the state record buck. Congratulations, Brenda. Now we're at the end of our first segment here on Big Buck Night. Time to go back to the studio and talk about pledging on public television. Where else but public TV would you find a Big Buck Night like this?